in the book, I do not speak of Jamaicans, I do not speak of Haitians or African Americans. I speak of the Africans in Jamaica, the Africans in Barbados, the Africans in America, the Africans in Haiti. Because what was happening was that those on the homeland were looking at the slave trade and the history of the slave trade as their story rather than our story. And because of the narrative that we were selling our own people, then those of the Africans in the Caribbean and in America and in Haiti were looking at the homeland, the Africans in the homeland, and say they were the ones who put this curse on our people and did it. Whereas the truth was very, very different. You see, the weapons that were brought in, even to this day, the weapons that Africans are using to kill Africans is not Africans who are making those weapons. Similarly, during the trade, the weapons that enabled them to round up whole villages were supplied by the European traders because they would initially, their first venture, they kidnapped those who they could find on the coast. But when those ships came back next time, the people on the coast were now smart enough to know, don't go near those ships because they're going to kidnap you. So what did they do? They used some of the ones that they had taken the first time, the less principled, were now working with them. And some of them, in fairness, it wasn't always the case that they were less principled. They were just under duress, forced them to work with them. They now sail back and go onto the land and talk to their people on the coast. And they tell the people on the coast, we're not going to kidnap you, but here are weapons, go get some of the people in the other community. Because if you don't bring those ones, we'll take you. So you could see the real narrative, how it happened. So I say this by way of background to the challenge that we all have on both sides to bring the family back. And such that the key thing is understanding the truth of what happened, which is why I did the research and I did the writing for the book. But that is not enough. You then need vehicles like cricket in order to really bond, such that we're feeling each other's pain once more, because you cease to be a unit when we're bleeding and you're not feeling it, and you're bleeding and we're not feeling it. But through these kind of initiatives, because unity comes largely from sentiment and emotion. That's the first base of unity. That sense of connection, that sense of shared identity. And the shared identity comes from a shared history, a shared experience, a shared narrative. And so the splinters that they introduced, I can see that cricket can be a useful vehicle to build the bridges which must be built. So it's two-dimensional. The book is a key part of that. I want the book right across the Caribbean, such that they are reading the true story. You're not going to get this in any of the other books on the transatlantic slave trade. They're not going to tell you that the weapons came from here and this is how it was done.